Season 2 of The Punisher continues off where the first season leaves off and still stars Jon Bernthal as the titular character himself. Former Marine turned vigilante Frank Castle has been living a quiet life on the road until he suddenly becomes embroiled in the attempted murder of a young girl. I really enjoyed the first season of The Punisher, even though it is a bit flawed in places here and there are parts of the character of The Punisher that I would have changed overall. I still thought it was a really compelling story with great performances and fantastic action sequences, and overall it was a good portrayal of the character of The Punisher. Season 2, I think, does a better job in terms of characterization of The Punisher, as we finally moved away from a lot of his backstory stuff and origins, and we're now witnessing The Punisher just do his thing. Frank Castle mowing down bad guys left and right who are trying to kill the innocent or do some sort of criminal stuff in an organization of sorts, or taking down pedophiles, religious people who are using like Christianity and religion for evil instead of good, like they're religious nutheads. He's taking them down, and he's doing all this just to protect this girl who has found herself in a bit of a pickle with this group of bad guys who are after her for a specific reason. And I'm not going to spoil what, but I think it is pretty compelling, and I love the dynamic that grows between these two characters and how they bounce off with one another and how they grow to form a sort of father and daughter type of relationship with each other. I think was great, and it emphasizes the Punisher's trait of wanting to become a family man deep down pretty well. He is a highly trained Marine official, or former Marine official, and the way he's able to utilize his skills to protect this girl is really fun. It makes the action a lot fun. It's really brutal again and violent, like the Punisher should. I love how at times the violence can be a bit endearing when it connects these two characters a little bit, even though the Punisher doesn't want that life for this girl, and he wants her to live a much happier life away from all this violence. And I really like how he really is trying to be that father figure that she sorely needs. And while this character, the young girl that he's protecting, can be a bit whiny at times and can be a bit of a hindrance at times to Frank Castle, she's not a bad character. She is likable at times and is able to support Frank Castle in some of his actions, but keep him down to earth when he needs to be down to earth and be realistic about certain things and try to calm down his violent nature, be that surrogate daughter that Frank didn't know he needed at this moment. And I love these two in their relationship together. Even the villains that are going after them, as twisted as they are, you know what their motivations is. They are creepy, they form a genuine threat to the characters, and I really like how Frank Castle is trying to really break them down from the inside near the end of the season, when he's just doing his regular thing in the beginning and it's not working out that much. They're just keep sending in their own goons whenever they can, and yeah, I found all that stuff really engaging. However, the Billy Russo stuff and how he becomes Jigsaw is where my problems of this season lies in. While I don't think this plotline is terrible, I think it makes the entire story of this season feel a bit janky and disjointed, because there's one plotline that I was totally invested in, but whenever we cut to Russo or this detective, or Russo going to therapy with this doctor who is supportive of him, and they're doing this kind of Joker Harley Quinn type of relationship with these two, it becomes unfocused and it's not as engaging. I feel like this should have been an entire season by itself. It should have been a third season to try and close off the story of Frank Castle, and this season should have focused a lot more on this religious criminal organization going after Frank Castle and this girl, and be more of a personal story for Frank Castle. Then we could go back to the story of Billy Russo and Frank and their final confrontation in the third and final season, bringing everything full circle, having it all be focused, because sometimes it can feel like filler and padding because there is not much meat to those bones. And if you would have just separate that and just polish that storyline for a third season, it would have been a lot better and clearer. But all in all, it just made this second season a bit unfocused. However, the action is still great, the characters are still engaging, the story is still, for the most part, pretty good, though it is very disjointed, and the pacing can be a bit of a drag. This is still an overall good Punisher season. I think does a better portrayal of the Punisher than season 1, but as a story in general, I think I prefer season 1 over this. But this is still a good Punisher story and a really entertaining watch, and if you enjoyed the first season, I can see yourself enjoying this. But if you think the portrayal of the Punisher here is better than the last season, I think you'll find this season a bit more enjoyable than the previous one. So for my rating, I'm going to give the Punisher season 2 a B. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.